Welcome to another episode of the Performance Prescription Lab podcast. Today, we're digging into two adaptogenic herbs that have become pretty popular recently. We're looking at ashwagandha and rhodiola. Adaptogens are in the wellness trend that has caught the attention of bindi yogas and functional medicine gurus. But now Olympians and strength athletes may be hitting up their spice racks too. Using herbs as performance enhancers in sports isn't out there as it may seem. During the Cold War, Soviet scientists found using rhodiola, adaptogenic herb that we'll discuss later today, boosted the athlete's endurance and decreased their recovery time. Most recent research has found that adaptogens may potentially enhance stress resilience, improve attention and focus, increase endurance through increased oxygen and blood flow, reduce inflammation, and fight fatigue in athletes. But can these herbs actually boost your fitness performance? We'll dig into the science. Adaptogens is a new term that many of us may not know about. Nilhan, will you want to give us a little background to the listeners about what are adaptogens?
Yes, sure. I would love to define this interesting word. So adaptogens, it's a unique class of herbs and botanical compounds that have been used since ancient times in traditional medicine systems like Ayurvedic medicine, traditional Indian medicine, or traditional Chinese medicine. And it's a broad term for also the supplements derived from plants that are non-toxic and edible. And one of the main things that adaptogens are known for is their ability to help our bodies maintaining a state of homeostasis. This means the state in which our bodies are in balance. And they help us stay balanced in many ways. The most common benefit of using adaptogen is that they help us adapt to physical, emotional, and environmental stressors. And they help us balancing our body against the effects of cortisol, our stress hormone, making our bodies stronger, less susceptible to stress and its negative impacts. I quite like the term adaptogen. It helps us adapt physically and mentally. And we want to focus on two adaptogens today, ashwagandha and rhodiola. Just which one would you like to pick and start with?
Let's go with ashwagandha. And hopefully you don't ask me to spell that because that one is always challenging for me. But ashwagandha is an ancient adaptogenic herb traditionally used for its medicinal properties in Ayurvedic medicine. It helps increase energy, improve overall health, and reduce inflammation and anxiety. Ashwagandha is also called Indian ginseng, but the power of the plant lies in the plant's roots. The roots of the shrubs contain various alkaloids. The young leaves of ashwagandha sometimes are used in food dishes. However, the roots of the plant are mainly used for medicinal purposes, which contain the largest amount of the active ingredients of ashwagandha. The name comes from ashwa, meaning horse, and gandha, meaning smell, giving you the power of the horse. It's in the nightshade. I know. I'm like, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but horses can
Apparently,
be
it's
super
a good thing.
powerful, but I don't know about smelling
Horsepower.
like a horse. It's horsepower, but I don't want to smell like a horse. So the power of you got a lot of horsepower with ashwagandha. We'll go with
Yeah.
that. It is interestingly in the nightshade family. There are other plants in this family, such as tomatoes, tobacco, and bell peppers. There's clear evidence that suggests ashwagandha has many potential benefits regarding training, exercise performance protocols, and relieving anxiety and stress. So today we're going to dig a little bit deeper and explore the five benefits of ashwagandha to athletes and how it can improve your training. Nilham, you want to start with benefit number one?
Yes, the first one, the most known one, is its benefit for reducing stress and anxiety. We talk about stress many times as a gain killer, and research has shown that mental tension can greatly increase or even double the recovery time required from strength training, check out episode 4 for more info about managing stress for recovery. And ashwaganda's most well-known benefit, as I mentioned, is reducing stress and anxiety. It adjusts your body's coping mechanisms to stress. So it doesn't eliminate it, but we have to learn how to live with stress. So ashwagandha is a good companion. In addition to everyday stressors, reducing stress and anxiety in relation to athletic performance is very beneficial for the performance itself, both mentally and physically. Part of the challenge competitively is mental resilience and focus. I'm sure athletes who are listening to us will agree on that. Reducing cortisol levels can significantly improve exercise performance and competitive outcomes. Let's look at one study, a double-blind randomized controlled trial. 64 subjects were administered 300 milligrams of full-spectrum ashwagandha root for 60 days to evaluate the efficacy of ashwagandha in reducing stress and anxiety. The treatment group in the study exhibited a significant reduction in scores on all stress assessment scales compared to the placebo, improving stress levels and overall quality of life. So it's supported with a reliable study. So we can safely say that it's a good companion and supplement for reducing stress and anxiety. What's the next benefit, Jess?
I was going to say, I think we all need that in our lives these days. Maybe we could add it to the water because it seems like stress is everywhere. And I think it's, like you said, I think it's um, not not avoiding stress, but managing so that you don't end up in stress overload is kind of
Yeah,
the key. And this can be a good herb to help support that.
I
One of
agree.
the next benefits I find in ashwagandha that definitely has data behind it is improving muscle mass and strength. So building strength is one of the foremost goals of most athletes, and strength translates into more maximal effort and therefore some more muscle mass. Research shows that supplementing with ashwagandha may significantly benefit and promote more muscle mass. There was a study out of the Journal of the International Society of Sports Nutrition, which examined the effects of ashwagandha on strength and recovery. The subjects were administered 300 milligrams of ashwagandha twice daily or a placebo of starch. The results showed that the ashwagandha root had significantly greater increase in strength with a significant gain in muscle size and a greater reduction in exercise induced muscle damage. They also had increased testosterone levels and a reduction in body fat. For me, as an athlete, these are all amazing things by just helping support my body with ashwagandha. So I think we can safely say that it can improve muscle mass and strength, and so therefore is another benefit of ashwagandha. Nilham, what is the third benefit we could look at for ashwagandha?
Yeah, we talk about strength. Let's talk about endurance now and how it can enhance endurance capacity. So with more endurance capacity, you can outpace your competition or achieve greater gains in strength, improve time trials, physically perform at a higher level. More aerobic capacity provides fuel during prolonged exercise bouts. Endurance athletes know this really well. And research indicates that one of the benefits of ashwagandha for athletes could be increased aerobic training parameters. Again, looking into research conducted at the Faculty of Sports Medicine and Physiotherapy in India, in Guru Nanak Dev University, they investigated the effects of ashwagandha on cardiorespiratory endurance in elite cyclists. 40 of these elite cyclists were randomized into two groups, one which received 500 milligrams of ashwagandha twice daily for 8 weeks, and the other placebo. And the study concluded that after 8 weeks of ashwagandha supplementation, cyclists significantly improved VO2 max, increased time to exhaustion, and improved endurance capacity. There is another study looked at 50 healthy adults which consumed 300 milligrams of ashwagandha twice daily for 12 weeks. And they looked at two parameters in these healthy adults, VO2 max and quality of life. they identified that VO2 max was increased by 12% and quality of life measured by 22% and 15% increase in physical health as well. I understand probably it allows blood to deliver more oxygen when increasing the endurance capacity. So this is quite beneficial. We spoke about strength, we spoke about enhancing endurance capacity. So athletes of different branches can benefit from the use of ashwagandha. And what about the next benefit, the fourth benefit?
Yeah. So I find it interesting. I just wanted to jump back to that study that you talked about, was
Yeah,
that it actually showed benefits in cyclists that were already elite. Like we weren't looking at
yeah,
people that had this big, they just had this big area of improvement. We're looking at cyclists that are,
yeah,
fighting for like seconds and minutes to
that's
increase
true.
stuff by. And so the fact that a herb can improve these results of endurance in people who are already elite, I find that
Yeah.
so intriguing. It's not like we're just
Mhm.
looking at, and so you would see even a bigger benefit, hopefully, in like a general population or a mid-level athlete if it's
Yeah.
showing these results in elite athletes. I find that so interesting.
Yeah, that's
But
true because
yeah.
they're looking for marginal gains, and ashwagandha can give that edge
Mhm.
to elite athletes who are seeking for these additional increases. I also noticed like the regimen is 500 milligrams of ashwagandha twice daily. So the dosage are also a little bit higher than the recommended amount. So just wanted to mention that this is like part of a study, but we'll come to the rational use of ashwagandha in the next points of our episode.
For
But
sure.
fourth benefits,
Fourth benefit,
what's that?
that would be improving sleep. So, all of us our eyes are fixated on our phones, our tablets, our computers all day, sometimes meaninglessly scrolling through heaps of information, interpreting data, but we're constantly exposed to blue light that can keep us up at night. And it can disrupt our sleep schedules, our pattern, and it can lead to all these types of effects. We've talked some on recovery in previous episodes. It can also lead to suboptimal productivity. So there was a study published that looked at the pharmacological effects of ashwagandha on sleep. The study had 8 healthy participants who were assessed on sleep parameters such as your sleep efficacy, your duration, wakefulness, and onset. In both the healthy and the insomnia groups, ashwagandha significantly improved all studied sleep parameters, improving the ability to help you sleep, the quality, and the management of insomnia. So improving sleep quality and duration will provide your body with an opportunity to optimally recover, which we talked about previously. It can also help you build muscle mass, can help for bigger gains and improve performance. So I think this
Great.
works like if you like you're going back into like we talked about helping with cortisol. So your cortisol is lower, you can have better improved sleep. So
Mhm.
Nilham, what are your thoughts on that one for sleep?
Yeah, well, people are looking for ways to improve their sleep, and ashwagandha can be one of the option. Of
Yeah,
course, ashwagandha is no magic potion.
definitely not.
We discussed about the importance of sleep in maybe all the previous episodes, and we both talk about importance of sleep in our personal content creation.
Hmm.
But ashwagandha is just an important supporter with good data. So
Very good
I
point.
think also, yeah, they are benefiting from the impact of sleep as it's a good companion.
Yes, I
And
love I love your choice of words, companion. Not
yeah,
the not how to get to sleep, but it's a good companion on top of sleep hygiene that we've talked about
yeah,
and all the different things to promote sleep. But I love your term. It's a great companion. So with
yeah,
that, do you want to dive into our fifth benefit that we have that the research shows for ashwagandha acting as an ergogenic aid?
yeah. We spoke about ashwagandha's help in increasing muscle strength, so it can help with body composition And ergogenic means performance enhancer, so how it can help enhancing your performance, because our question in the beginning of this podcast was, can these adaptogens help with your fitness and increase your performance? So let's get to that at the end of the list of benefits. So a study conducted by Natural Healthy Concepts, a study from 2015, researchers at several Indian universities, in which a test group of male subjects aged 18 to 50 was given 300 milligrams of ashwagandha root extract twice daily. And in this study, while the control group consumed starch placebo, over a period of 8 weeks in the study, participants in both groups undertook the same regimen of resistance training. And at the end of the 2 months, researchers reported that the test group demonstrated significantly greater increases in muscle strength on the bench press exercise and the leg extension exercise, as well as markedly more muscle growth in arms. Researchers also found that participants in the experimental group suffered a far lower rate of exercise-related muscle injury. So while it gives you more muscles, it can also help preventing muscle injuries as well, which is good. And it can also have beneficial properties for strength athletes, obviously. The herb may increase testosterone levels. This is also another commonly reason for using ashwagandha. And it can promote strength performances and muscle recovery as well through that indirect benefit on the performance. To date, only one study has directly demonstrated these things. So we think there are more research that needs to be done, but there is also a handful of other studies to give similar indications. So it's good to take a closer look in what's coming out of ashwagandha studies, so that we can support more evidence for these claims. But so far, the benefits of performance are clear from my perspective. And I mean, when I hear these benefits, I get excited also as an athlete. And those are some of the performance goals I have: being more strong, feeling less anxious from the stresses coming out of life. So I want to maybe consider adding ashwagandha into my supplementation routine, and I bet the listeners would be too. And we are sports pharmacists, and we love guiding you in rational use of supplements. And you might be asking now, if you're interested in adding ashwagandha into your routine, when to take ashwagandha, for how long, how much, what are the risks? Jess is going to get your back on this.
Yeah, our favorite part is being pharmacists, is the science behind it and then how to take it so that you can use it effectively. So, how you take ashwagandha is something that boils down to you and your daily routine that you already have established. Figuring out the time of day to take your supplements is something that needs a little more attention, especially with ashwagandha. Many find that taking the supplement first thing in the morning can start their day off in the right step. So, ashwagandha is considered generally safe and effective without side effects when taken in the prescribed doses. Most studies, as you heard, use a daily dose of somewhere between 300 to 600 milligrams, often either 300 milligrams once a day or 300 milligrams twice a day. Too large of doses or when taking on an empty stomach can cause some people to have a little bit of an upset stomach, vomiting, or diarrhea. But I, truthfully, as a pharmacist, have not seen this really happen. Most people tolerate ashwagandha very well. The effects of ashwagandha do not are not immediate, unlike other supplements. Instead, you do have to take these supplements for a couple days, even a couple weeks before you see a difference. It is recommended that you should take about a 1 to 2 week break after a period of time. So what I like to advise patients is when you take your supplement of ashwagandha, when you finish a bottle, take a week off before you start taking the next bottle. This helps avoid dependence and the buildup of tolerance. As an athlete, your body demands more. The more exerted effort requires more effective nutrition and supplementation. And when it comes to ashwagandha, I do think the hype is real. As a powerful and proven adaptogen, ashwagandha can ultimately improve stress and anxiety, athletic performance, cognitive function, sleep, and optimize your performance on all levels. It is not as obvious as a strength support supplement, but ashwagandha is definitely, I believe, worth the try for many athletes. As we are going to look into our next adaptogen that we talked about in the very beginning, rhodiola. Rhodiola is commonly used as a neurotropic, which is another term that we'll need the defining of. So, Nilham, why don't you help our listeners with introducing rhodiola and what is a neurotropic?
Of course. So today I think I'm the dictionary, and I love Rhodiola. Is good to know these terms because it's included in the claims and it may be confusing patients, consumers. So we love to help you with uh, being better informed consumers. And Rhodiola is another adaptogenic herb, but it differs from ashwagandha. It has different impact on our bodies, which we'll explain. And it's also rhodiola is a nootropic, which is to increase mental performance and energy levels. It is a stimulant. It is very stimulating, which is perfect for those that have low energy and needs a boost. Just wanted to jump into a little bit etymology here. The word nootropic emerged from describing this class of compounds and derived from the Greek words nous, it means mind, and trepein, meaning to turn. Also, there is a similar word in French as well, but don't want to mispronounce it. But it means any given substance which influence the cognitive ability in a positive way. So it's a cognitive enhancer. And they are also called smart drugs as well. In practical terms, they are a safe way to improve aspects of your brain functions, such as memory, focus, or your mood. And you may not know, but you are most likely already drinking a nootropic daily. Here it comes, Jess. This is our fifth episode, and we do not have a single episode that we haven't mentioned it. It's caffeine. Uh,
Caffeine.
Yes, here it comes again. It's our daily nootropic. It's the world's most popular stimulant and has proven to improve mental and physical performance. It's studied well, so we love it. But go to our first episode if you want to know more about it. But let's dive into our focus, nootropic. Rhodiola a little bit more, Jess.
Yeah. So rhodiola is known as rhodiola rosa, and it's also been given the name golden root or rose root. Rhodiola is an adaptogenic herb that is recognized for its ability to increase your mental focus and your energy, as Nilham explained. Rhodiola grows in the cold regions of high altitude of Europe, Asia, and Siberia. And it's believed that these conditions that they grow in, these very harsh conditions, is what makes the herb so beneficial to us. Rhodiola has a long history of medicinal use in Russia, Scandinavia, and other parts of Europe. Its long history of effectiveness as a fatigue fighting tonic for both the mind and the body. There are definitely documented stories of the Vikings using this herb to get psyched up for raids and cosmonauts using it to stay on task while in orbit. I find that super interesting.
Yeah.
But today, I know I was like cosmonauts, like and Vikings using this herb, but I it just shows that it's been there for years and
Yeah.
people using herbs for their medicinal properties, and I just love it. So,
This is
um,
astropharmacy, by the way. It's
yeah,
an
it's also
interesting
it's original pharmacy, the original pharmacy. But today, rhodiola is definitely, if you want to look at the change, is definitely promoted, advertised, social media to increase energy, stamina, strength, and your mental capacity. It's also advertised to improve athletic performance and resist the effects of chronic stress, help manage depression, anxiety, and other symptoms. So rhodiola seems to be a mighty neurotropic, but how does it do all this? Nilham, you want to kind of dive into a little bit more of the science behind this
Yeah,
wonderful herb that we have?
yes, let's do that. So we we don't know specific mechanism of action because there are over 140 different compounds that have been isolated in rhodiola roots. So it's a like magical potion within it. But depending on where the rhodiola is grown, it can markedly change the plant's chemical composition. Again, another important reason to ensure you select quality and safe supplements to get its benefits. You should know what's in it. And how does it work? It appears to act by modulating various signaling pathways in the brain. It acts as a monoamine oxidase inhibitor or agents that slow the breakdown of monoamine neurotransmitters. These are well known serotonin, dopamine, and noradrenaline, commonly known. And this increased the levels of the rhodiola increase the levels of these important neurotransmitters associated with our mood stabilization, our concentration, pleasure response, motivation, our drive and energy. It also helps with neurogenesis. This means repairment and growth of new neurons, new connections in our body. And Rhodiola rosea has a reputation in the nootropic community for its energizing and anti-fatigue qualities because it has an influence on the levels and activity of monoamines, the ones that we have counted, serotonin, noradrenaline, dopamine, and with opioid peptides such as beta endorphins. And speaking about energy, its impact as a stimulant, it also activates the synthesis and resynthesis of ATP, basically our body and brain cells' main energy source. This is what every athlete needs. So it has great benefits in terms of providing energy, and this is basically the science behind it. And now that we explained rhodiola and what is it, how does it work, how it can help you in your performance goals, I'm gonna hand over to Jess again for the rational use of rhodiola guidance.
You got it. I think it's so interesting to see how two herbs can make such an impact on our bodies, but yet for so many years, people have known this. Like thousands of years ago, you have people documented using it, and we're still, you know, just learning all of the science behind it. I find it so fascinating.
Mhm.
But so rhodiola, as we said, has been successfully used for thousands of years, and it's considered non-toxic and safe. There are very few side effects reported. If you do use considerably higher than the recommended doses, there is some risk of dry mouth, nausea, upset stomach, headache, insomnia, and weight loss. Most studies that we read and the recommended doses are somewhere between 200 to 600 milligrams daily, taken on an empty stomach before breakfast or lunch. And this is again, like we talked about, because of its stimulating effects. You should take it in the morning and avoid it before dinner or bedtime because the stimulating effect can affect your sleep quality and quantity, which we have talked about multiple times on previous episodes on the importance of sleep. While some research has found that rhodiola rosa could take effect within a matter of days, most people will experience more benefits from consistent use. And most studies show it takes about 4 weeks to see improvement. As Neilham said, rhodiola rosa can act as an MAOI, and this is a type of medication. It's an older antidepressant drug that's used to treat bipolar or panic disorder or PTSD. So if you're taking an MAOI or even just an antidepressant and you're not sure what class, we do recommend that you consult with your doctor or pharmacist before you start taking rhodiola rosa because there could be some interactions in the mechanism of action. There are active ingredients that they have found in rhodiola rosa. One is rosalvins, and the other one is salvinorin. adaptorosides. I can always butcher that. Sorry.
It's
But
okay.
you want to, if you want the studies, they've kind of boiled it down to finding the supplements. You want them to be standardized. So you want the supplement to contain about 3% of the rosavins and 1% of the, how do you, saldrosidins?
Androsides. One starts with S.
Yes, yes. So this is the 3%, 1% ratio is is the ratio found naturally in the roots.
Check the
But
label.
yeah, check the label and you'll see there should be a word with an R and a word with an S. I get so tongue-tied trying to pronounce these. But I do have to talk about, we're looking at doses and everything. Rhodiola rosa is not a banned substance, but it can be very difficult to find like an NSF or Informed Sport certified product. So you do, if you're a drug tested athlete, you do need to be very cautious when you're taking a product that contains rhodiola rosa because it is very hard to find a certified product. There was a 2016 study that analyzed 40 rhodiola rosa products and found their quality and authenticity varied significantly. So this is kind of our pharmacist. Make sure you buy from a trusted, safe, and quality provider. So you want to make sure you're looking for a provider that does third-party testing, that they know where they're buying their original products from. This can help you eliminate inadvertently banned substances or risky substances that may cause additional health problems. So
Mhm.
just a safety warning on there. But rhodiola rosa and ashwagandha are two popular adaptogens, as we can see, and we get questions about them often. And so we hope this helps you make a better selection or just a better understanding of the products. And we're going to dive into some of the common questions we get that you may help you decide which one or if necessary, both may be beneficial to you. So,
Mhm.
Nilham, my first question to you is going to be rhodiola rosa or ashwagandha. When somebody asks which one's the right one for me, how do you kind of answer that?
Yeah, just going back to what we've discussed, if you look into rhodiola, is a stimulant as an anti-stress herb. It works to get the brain activated into a focused and productive zone. For some people, rhodiola may be too stimulating as well.
Mhm.
You need to monitor and assess yourself when you're using them. If this is your need, if you need an anti-stress herb, you need focus, go for rhodiola. And ashwagandha, on the other hand, doesn't have the same stimulating properties. That said, it does have the ability to provide a relaxed, focused state as well. And it also has the ability to support deep sleep. So they work in totally different pathways. Depending on your personalized needs, you may pick your adaptogen. Of course, if our listeners are not sure, always consult your pharmacist. They can help you to pick the right one for you because there are other factors about your daily routine, your athletic routine, other medicines you use. So we can help you with choosing the right one. But basically, that's the approach. Then, of course, you need both when you assess
Some
your
people,
needs.
yeah, what if I need both? Like,
Yeah,
I'm tired and I'm stressed.
yeah. Can I take them together? Let's answer that question. Of course, it may be the scenario. If you're a beginner in adaptogens you've never used before, I recommend starting with one adaptogen at a time. Prioritize your needs, which one you think you have more needs, prioritize that and start with one. And over time, you can take rhodiola and ashwagandha together, but keep in mind they work in contrary. Rhodiola is a stimulant, energizing herb. Ashwagandha gives more a relaxed and focused calm. So if you want to take both together, split them up. Don't use them together. We said rhodiola is a stimulant. It should be used in nighttime. So go for it in the morning And then if you prefer getting your ashwagandha at the same time, also go for ashwagandha towards the evening. So this is how you can balance. And
Perfect.
then as a stimulant, so again, our favorite compound comes into table. We get to ask from athletes whether they can replace rhodiola with caffeine as a stimulant. So rhodiola is providing a stable type of long lasting energy without the crash that comes with caffeine. And it can make you less stressed and less anxious because it's an adaptogen. And as opposed to the nervous or this jittery feeling that comes with too much high doses of caffeine. We can also recommend you to combine with L-theanine, uh, uh, which combining L-theanine with rhodiola or caffeine, because it can negate the downside of stimulants, like it can take away the irritability while taking the advantage of their energizing effect. So this could be one strategy to help you with managing your caffeine anxiety if you're having that. So those are some questions we get. There is one question I would like to ask, and let's see where we can get. But is rhodiola addictive? Are there any studies about that?
I have not read studies about it being addictive. Um, I haven't. I have patients on it long term, but I know they can safely come off of it without any side effects. As long as, obviously they have nutrition and sleep under control. Otherwise, coming off of it, they may have a little bit of fatigue, but I don't have any type of addictive properties. Have you heard of any?
Not me. I was looking at some research, but haven't found specific papers on that. But this is something we
Yeah.
can look into. But I understand because of its mechanism of action, people may think whether it's an addictive stimulant. Because I also mentioned that it's called a smart drug. But this was something that has been used for years since ancient times. So I believe if there would be an addictive property in it, it will be published, but this is something we can also look into as part of our next episodes. That was a question that came from athlete Nilhan.
Yeah,
so,
no, great question.
so we shared plenty of different aspects of both adaptogens, ashwagandha and rhodiola. Jess, would you like to wrap up with final takeaway messages for our listeners?
Yeah, I think our final takeaway is going to be something that we've echoed throughout previous episodes, and that before you reach for an adaptogen, it's worth prioritizing rest um, to improve your body's stress and improve your focus. So we discussed rest and recovery in episodes 3 and 4. Definitely, I'm give ourselves a little thing. Definitely go listen to those. And sometimes as simply as adding a rest day to your training schedule as opposed to taking an adaptogen may be more beneficial. I love the term you use as using adaptogens as companions. They are not substitutes, they are not something to use to enhance, but they are used as a companion to something that you're already doing. So you're optimizing your nutrition, you're optimizing your sleep. These adaptogens can then help you in those areas. So I feel like they do have a lot of benefits, but always focus on the foundations first. Some things to consider, or just to remind you, if you do want to give them a try, is adaptogens on their own will be ineffective at increasing your performance and recovery. Like I said, you still need sleep, balanced nutrition, and a smart training plan. As Neilham described earlier, if you're in a beginner to adaptogens and you don't know where to start, always start with just one. Start by taking one product for at least 3 to 4 weeks and see how you do. See if
Mhm.
that gives you your needs and meets that. We don't want to be adding like a kitchen sink full of supplements because we don't know what's actually benefiting us. So start with one, see how you do, and if necessary, add another. We definitely expect you or encourage you to monitor and assess how the drug affects you. Does it make you more tired? Does it make you less tired? Do you even notice a change? Does it affect your sleep? Does the timing affect your sleep, such as rhodiola, if you're taking it in the mid-afternoon, maybe taking it earlier in the day? Um, Definitely things to encourage you as you take a supplement. You do need to assess if it is effective and if it's something you should continue to take. Pay attention to the dosing and the timing. Dosages and how you take supplements are really important. There's a lot of supplements that you can take and underdose yourself and you'll never get the effect. So that is why we love to cover dosing and timing nuances so that you do get the maximal benefit from that product by not taking too little or taking too much. And like I said, with timing, it's really important because of things like rhodiola being stimulating, so you're not taking it at bedtime. And lastly, make sure you choose quality products. An herb, being just because it's herb or herbal or from nature, doesn't mean that it's 100% safe. And you may inadvertently be subject to not labeled substances, which, if you're a drug tested athlete, could test you positive for a banned substance. Or if you're not drug tested or just someone concerned about your health, which you should be, you could be end up with a harmful substance. So make sure you do choose a quality product. And I think I've covered most of wrapping it up. Nilham, is there anything else you'd like to say before we say goodbye to our listeners for this episode?
I think you covered everything well. And for the final point about choosing quality products, there is also the fact that we suggested that, for example, rhodiola has a specific ratio that it should contain, with the words that we were unable to read properly, the word R and S. So always check the label because there is also the situation where you may get harm or you may test positive, but also you may simply not get the benefit and you may just waste your money. So that's also another approach that is just a friendly warning to read the labels. But we are sports pharmacists, so that's our mission. We want to provide you accurate and evidence-based information so you can optimize your health and performance. And when it comes to your health and well-being choices, consult with your physician or pharmacist, prioritize your safety, and always make informed decisions. Thank you for joining us today. We look forward to sharing more valuable scientific and actionable insights in our next episode.